Hello.
You can sit down with me again if you want to.
Our weekend. Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to I don't even know where I'm at and what I'm doing now. Sorry, guys. Anyway.
Yeah.
We lost somebody. Maybe they'll come back. What's up, Kentucky Rimfire? I hope everybody had a good week. Hope y'all had a good Halloween.
I had 4 kids come to my house.
How was your week, CW?
I had a busy one. Very, very busy week. I got to the range once. I got a couple of challenges done. It was a super windy day. I still had a good time, but it was frustrating trying to shoot. But I got to shoot that chipmunk pistol, and new scope works really well. Video's coming out a week after next on here, and it's up already or going to be up shortly on Rumble. I don't know which, but yeah, good times. Had a couple of nights out. Had a good time all week, and looking forward to just some relaxing time with you guys here. Gene, how was your week?
My week's been pretty good. Had a pretty decent week at work. Boss man gave me a raise. That's always good. And it was a very generous one. So I'm very happy about that. I got a bunch of casting done. Did a crap load of ingots and a bunch of bullets, and just spent some cool evenings outside in the garage, which is really nice. You know, sit out there, listen to some music, and just cast away. I'm really happy to be here tonight. We got a really interesting topic, and I got something special for What's Hot Pot Got. But that's all I got for everybody. How about you, Walter?
Well, I had me a good week as usual. It's hard to not have a good week when you're me. I got some casting, loading, and shooting done. Got to the range twice this week. Got out on the town a couple of times and ate too much of my own candy. I was telling the guys in the back chat, I think I ate 3 pieces of candy for every 2 I gave away last night.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I still got a big old bag left over, and I'm going to have to just toss it. One of the dentists here in town will buy your leftover candy back. He'll instead of you eating it or the kids eating it, all the kids can take their candy. He pays like $1 a pound or something for the candy, and also all the parents go dump it. I don't know what he does with it, but to just go donate it or something. But anyway, because I'll eat it if it just lays around. So yeah, I'm glad to be here as always, guys. It's good to see the side chat picking up over there. People are flooding in like crazy, and I think it's going to be a good night. We do have a good topic tonight, and it's going to be fun. So that's what's going on here at the moment. Mr. 6-Shooter Texan, what's happening?
Howdy. We had a good week. Work was decent this week. Did a lot of stuff after work, going cleaning all of our guns for our big 2-day match starting tomorrow. Got all those scrubbed up and oiled up and stuff. And got some more bullets loaded for some side match I'm going to try to do with the Wild Bunch. We use 1911s, so got almost everything packed up already, so we're ready to go for in the morning. How about you, Dr. Zink?
Work like everybody else. Busy week. Lots of work going on around the house. I was off Wednesday. Solar panels are off the roof. The roof is coming tomorrow to re-roof the house, and my new wood floor is in the living room. Now that it's all painted, a little busy week that way. Gun wise, not much. Ordered another scope for the Rossi. It should be here tomorrow. See how that works out. And took apart my zinc casting pot to clean. I didn't put it back together yet. I was checking all the wiring, make sure everything was good and tight. And that's about it.
We're glad you're here. Hey, how was your week, Pat?
Pretty good. Actually, pretty fast. Actually, seemed like the week just zipped right by with Halloween and all the other stuff I got going on right now. Made a couple videos this week. Got one out right before your show, Jamie. So got a new one out there. So gonna try to keep up with putting out one a week. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But yeah, had a good time shooting it today. So other than that, man, I'm just glad to be here. I'm just chilling out with you guys, with you fine gentlemen. So Kentucky, how's your week been?
My week started off rough. I passed a kidney stone on Monday.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Well, I'm glad to hear it's gone. I'm sorry to hear you went through it. That's rough.
Been there, done that many times.
I made it and got on to work. And when I got home from work, I had these in the mailbox.
What you got there?
Feed my 30. I got something to feed my 35 Remington.
Nice.
And thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
And I deer hunted all day today, but I didn't see a thing. So I thought I'd come home and eat some summer sausage from
There
the
you go.
previous deer. So
Attaboy.
thanks for having me on. But all in all, it was a good week.
Very cool.
Good to get rid of that kidney stone. I'm packing 3 at the moment.
I've passed about 8 of them.
Now, I quit counting after about the first 20. I get them all the time.
What are you guys eating and drinking? I'll make sure to stay away from that mess.
Not drinking enough, but you know, after a gallon of water every day, you start floating, and it just can't drink much more than that.
Well,
Doesn't seem to matter.
I don't drink alcohol, and I get gout.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
I was told my body is just an overproducer of uric acids.
Yeah.
Far out.
Yikes.
Big Al says coffee and pop.
Yep.
We're going to
Yeah,
talk about
those are on the hit list. Yeah.
we're going to talk about the Rebel, one of his favorite topics tonight. I hope you read the description, Mike. So shall we get to this?
Sure.
Tonight we want to talk about one of the heroes of particularly the handgun world, Mr. Elmer Keith, tonight. And I managed to find this short by Ron Spomer. He has a full video about Elmer Keith that is very interesting. I encourage y'all to check out his full video on Elmer Keith. But let me see if I can do this. Bunch of clicks going on here. This is a short, so it won't take long.
If you don't know Elmer Keith, you probably want to get to, because this gun nut was quite the throwback character. He was born in 1899 in Hardin, Missouri. And when he was about 11 years old, his folks moved the whole family out to Montana, and it was a wild pioneer place in those days. There were no cars, just horses. They got out there on the train, and they switched to horses, and they proceeded to lead one heck of a wild and crazy life.
So that's a brief introduction to Elmer Keith. I'm sure all you guys have read a little bit about him, especially if you're a revolver nut like I am. And the fact that he was born in Montana in 1899, then they moved to Montana when he was 11. That would have put him in Montana about 1910. So, and you heard him say they got there by train, and then, yeah. So, there's a story that he was in a fire and yes, Patriot Paul, he was born in Missouri, is what Ron Spomer just said. I think what was it, Hardin, Missouri, and moved to Montana, and
Yes, sir.
he was in a fire, and his left hand, I think it was his left hand, was all like
Badly burned, yeah. They
yeah,
figured it tightened up and
yeah, and he made his dad fix it. The doctors wanted to amputate it, and of course they lived on a ranch, and he had to have his left hand pull himself up on a horse. And Daniel God is my judge says the hotel fire started by the hotel owners. Wow. I don't believe that I wouldn't believe that it wasn't true. But the video I watched and some of the stories that I've read said that he made his dad fix his hand, which meant that he had to cut that burnt skin, and a lot of it had to come off, and then they had to break his arm to get it back in the correct position. And this is an 11-year-old kid making his dad do this stuff to him. So you see the determination in this man pretty early on. So anybody else got any stories?
I know there's plenty out there, and I know I've seen and read about it, but man, I'm drawing a blank for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, we would know him. He was a rider, and
melted is more like it, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But M. Gabriel, let's address this point right here. After Dirty Harry movies came out, yeah, everybody wanted a 29. The Smith & Wesson introduced the 44 Magnum, simply the 44 Magnum, in 1955. And it wasn't until 1957 did they give it the nomenclature of the 29. And these came in, I think there was a 4-inch, a 5-inch, a 6-inch, a 6.5-inch, and an 8.5-inch variant.
8 3/8.
So lots of different variances. I bet that's Hillbilly. No, it's Mark Thomas. What's going on, Mark Thomas?
Oh, not too much. How's everybody doing?
Good. I want to say something right quick, off topic. Mark put out 2 videos this week, so y'all go check those 2 out. I haven't got a chance to watch them yet, but I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to talk to y'all, and I'm trying to keep up with the side chat too, and it's proving difficult. But yeah, there were several variances of the 29 when it came out. He had one that was the pre-29, and he had a lot of work done on it, and it came up for auction at Rock Island Auctions not too long ago. But if we had one gun that we would really like to talk about, I'm sure we all have different guns of his that we would like to talk about. He had so many. He blew up a lot of Model 10s, Smith & Wessons. And Yeah. He was Mr. Wesson from Smith & Wesson sent him a Smith & Wesson model 3844, which was a big target model of a 38 special, if I understood what I was reading correctly. And he pushed some incredible volumes with that. He had there was a group of a few guys called the 44 Associates, I think, it was something like that. Anyway, that were instrumental in developing the 44 Magnum. One thing I would Mr. Pollard. One of the guns that if I had my choices to talk about would be his number 5, which
Yep.
Do y'all know about the Model 5, the
Yep.
number 5?
Yep.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that, CW.
One of the biggest differences is its grip. It steals a little bit from the single action Bisley style grip, and it gives you a better grip, better double action pull. It just changes the gun a lot. It kind of looks funky when you first look at it, but if you ever get a chance to shoot one, it's a really, really good design. See if I can pull up a picture. Unless you have one, Jamie.
I do not, but I can probably find one. I really like the way those of you who have shot a 44 Magnum and a Black Hawk, he had the trigger guard shortened significantly on the number 5 so that he wouldn't have that bite come back and see. It wants to get that knuckle right there when you the way that trigger guard is on the Black Hawks, and that number 5 was really it in my mind. It takes a lot from the Colt Single Action Army. It takes some from the Ruger Black Hawk, and it's just a wonderful thing. And of course, he had it engraved, and he had one of his things was these bone or ivory grips that he had hand carved, and there was always some innate design in them, but it was for function, and it was because he had such wide hands, a wide grip, and all of the things that he had done to a gun were. He didn't have any safe queens. He shot all of his guns, and almost all of them have some very fine engraving on them. But it was to hide scratches and stuff like that. But that for people to get that in the first place, the way he used one.
We got a sighting
Already?
Yep, he's early.
Count us down.
Here we go. On 3, 2, 1.
Hey!
West Coast weirdo.
Yeah, he did have an ongoing feud with Jack O'Connor, who was also, but they were polar opposites, is my understanding. Jack O'Connor was a college professor, well educated, and
I just watched a video about him last night, and he loved the 270.
Jack O'Connor did, yeah.
Yep.
He was it was main proponent. But Elmer Keith was all about bigger bores, bigger bullets, and more power. So the 270 was an adaptation of the 30-06. So you know, I'm sure that Elmer Keith's idea was, why do you want to alter the 30-06? Number 5 used a Bisley backstrap mated to a single action Army trigger guard.
And the only thing I'll add on top of that, Jamie, is why would you want to adapt 30-06? Because you can.
We all said 270, Fuzz. Yeah, and this is Fuzz's fault. My idea here is to have a series. We want to talk about Elmer Keith tonight, then maybe Bill Jordan next week or the week after that, and then some of the other heroes of the gun world. Skeeter Skelton, and now I guess we got to throw Jack O'Connor in there as well. But this is the thing, though. It's like he was all about bigger bullets and more power and heavy bullets. Anything you want to tell us about that video you watched last night? Was it about Jack O'Connor or Elmer Keith? Jack O'Connor?
Yeah, Jack O'Connor. I'm gonna have to look up the creator of that. He's doing series on all those fellows, and that was one of the names I really didn't know that well. So I clicked on that one and thought it was pretty interesting that he'd done a heck of a lot of hunting all over the world.
Yeah.
Really prolific writer, and he was an editor for lost the name.
Guns and Ammo?
Well, he's a writer for Guns and Ammo, but Elmer Keith was the name that just blanked out of my head, and that was part of their feud, that he didn't like editing his stuff, but he had to, and it was kind of rough writing for a college professor to have to edit.
Yeah. My understanding was Elmer Keith was not a great writer as far as grammar, usage, spelling, punctuation. I mean, it was like one big, huge, long run-on sentence. But, yeah.
And I'm sure he didn't like being critiqued by Jack either.
No. I think they said that was a natural kind of. Well, we don't really know how much of it was for show or how much of it was for real, but yeah, I can see where Elmer Keith wouldn't like Jack O'Connor.
I'm going to bail out, guys. I got to get up real early. I'll sit in the side chat for a little while.
Okay, Andy.
Thanks for being here, Andy.
Yeah, it's just I got to get up
Andy.
early for the roofer.
Good night, Andy.
Good night,
Let me know
everyone.
how that scope works
Good
out.
night, Andy. Have a good one.
So Kyle's over there, huh?
Yeah, Kyle's in the back.
Oh, Kyle. Hey, Kyle.
I didn't see him.
I didn't either. Abigail snuck in here too, and I didn't see her come in.
Yeah, so we got a good crowd. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. And CW's still looking for a picture of the number 5.
I've never seen one.
One of the things that intrigued me was its chambering. All right, here we go. Let me see if I can do this. Y'all want to see number 5?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
Can y'all see it?
Yes, sir.
This was in 2002, and you can see the top of the eagle and snake on the handguard. Notice the engraving, and you can see the top of the Bisley grip, which comes way out,
Mm-hmm.
and you can
That
see
is beautiful.
the top strap there is solid and complete. You can also see the adjustable sight. You can also see the extended target hammer, and notice how deep the trigger is set in the trigger guard. And Mark Thomas, take a look at that leather.
Yes, sir.
That is a Lawrence carved and laced 120 holster. There's a little bit better look at the holster and engraving.
Wow.
Notice this contraption right here. This is a latch that holds in the
With the base pin.
cylinder pin, and it mashes down, and then you pull the pin out. There's a better look at the hammer and the adjustable sights on the rear.
That is art, gentlemen.
Now that's a working gun to Elmer Keith.
Right, but I'm still that is art. It's
Imagine the
functioning
time
art.
involved to do all that engraving. Gosh,
Oof.
Yeah, and there you can see the knurling on the cylinder pin. Also see the markings of the chambering, Russian and Smith & Wesson Special 44. There is a great look at the
yeah.
latch. And the engravings even down here. Let's back up right here just for a second. Notice all of that engraving and how beautiful it is. And notice how the
Flutes are bare.
flutes are untouched. The hammer is actually made of 2 different hammers that are welded together and then shaped the way he wanted it shaped. And there's the latch. So back in 27, Elmer Keith was riding for American Rifleman. Harold Croft brought a suitcase full of guns, and he told Elmer told him what he wanted. He found things he liked about each one, things he didn't like. That's this story right here. Croft accepted bringing a suitcase full of guns as Elmer described it. Upon arrival, Elmer nailed some boards together, making a 4-foot by 4-foot target, and sets it a measured 700 yards away. Using his sitting, Keith positioned, hands locked between his knees, head resting on the saddle, Elmer started shooting, hitting the target with every gun Kraft brought. Keith even hit the board with a 2-inch slip gun. Croft became a true believer. 4x4 target with a handgun at 700 yards. And it goes on to tell you how he built it. There were a lot of guys had a hand in building this gun, guys.
What's the old saying? Takes a village.
How many knew Elmer Keith was a Mason?
That I did not know either.
And look
No,
at
didn't know
that.
that.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Mm.
We got engraving all the way out, even on the front sight blade there. Wow.
And that's why I was talking about the grips.
That
Elephant
Mexican
ivory.
Mexican eagle.
That's the palm
Yeah.
swell of the grip. There's his hometown, Durkee, Oregon, on the base strap. And then his name on the back strap.
Mm-hmm.
Been a lot of people try to make that gun, and a lot of people have wanted to make one, but as they said, it's often imitated, never duplicated. But the fact that the great Elmer Keith had a 44 special and worked up loads with that gun that eventually became the 44 Magnum. That's an awesome thought for me. So, what are we typing in tonight? Walter's time to call out the side chat.
Too easy, Elmer.
Well, it kind of is, ain't it?
I thought you were going to say 44.
That's what I would have said, but Elmer's great too. And of course, as always, when Walter makes up the tagline,
Yeah, I cheated.
he's first in, and he's also on the panel and in the side chat. So is Reloading from the Hot Pot, CW Longshot, 6-Shooter Texan. All these guys are your hosts tonight. Big Al's out there. Kentucky Rimfires and Hobbies is also in the panel in the side chat. Glenn Davis, Bobby Barlow, Mark Thomas is on the panel. Papa's Place, Tommy Boy, GGW Outdoors, James Pugh, Walks Fletcher, James Pollard, Tactical Fud, one guy, Big Al says 44. Justin Grimm, what's going on, brother? Rollis Carvelis, the gun genius. Pat in the Bunker is also in the panel. Buzz T48, Andre D'Angelo. Daniel God is my judge. And I'll talk about that in a minute, Daniel. Mike Hester, the Rebel. Yukon 454, welcome. And Patriot Paul. Tim S. Trees are blowing videos. What's going on, buddy? Fuku YT is out there. Welcome in, Boom. Let's see. We got M. Gabriel. 01 guys over on the Rumble side. R4 Mississippi Thunder Outdoors is out there. And yeah. Walks, that's exactly what he had on there. On one of his guns, he had I think it was a Black Hawk. He had a Dragoon style trigger guard on there because it was shorter and it didn't bang back into his finger like you were describing earlier. That does hurt with full power 44 Magnum loads.
The Dragoon grip was a little bit longer, and it had that square shoulder, like the Super Blacklock, like the original Super Blacklock.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Big Al. Hell, I Was There is the title of one of Mr. Keith's many books. And I heard the story that he actually complained about the title, but the publisher made him name it Hell, I Was There. And he didn't like it. So, anyway. Anybody else got any Elmer Keith stories? 6?
No, I don't.
Anyway, fellas, something's happened. I got to jump off, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for having me on, Jamie. Thanks for having me on every single Friday. I appreciate it. And yeah, we will get back to you guys later. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Okay, Pat. Call me if you need me, buddy.
All right, will do. Will do. Thank you very much, Jamie. Bye.
Bye. I remember that, Mike. She could barely hold that gun up.
Patty?
Yep.
Y'all won't do.
Horse pistol.
That's a good description of that pistol for sure. And Patriot Paul has a good observation as well. Wonder how many bullet designs he tried. There's the hillbilly.
Where did he get his moles made?
That's a good question. Well,
Yeah.
Lyman made some for him, and so did Hensley and Gibbs.
He Smith designed to him.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who else. It wouldn't surprise me if he had a
Ideal.
custom mold maker. Yeah, Ideal back in the day. I should have said Ideal rather than Lyman. I don't know
Yeah.
if he had any after Lyman took over. I don't know if he had them make any after that. Well, 429, 421 might have been after Lyman bought the company. Probably was. Lyman bought it in 25. So.
Yeah. Big Al says a blacksmith. Yeah, I've heard about them.
Yeah, with the surprise in the middle.
Daniel's over there picking on Fuzzy.
There's Edward Petty. Thanks for joining us, Edward. Crimp Groove, yeah. Elmer helped develop the 41 Magnum, James, just like he did the 357 and the 44. But I think it's important that we remember that the 357 came fairly early on. It was released in what, 1935?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Thereabouts, yep.
Yeah, thereabouts.
And then the 44 was
55.
55.
And the 41 was 64.
Uh, yeah, one of the things that's often overlooked about Elmer. I wish Mike was here to tell the story. Um, he was a hunting guide as well as a hunter and a pistol developer. And Kentucky Rimfire is going to like this story. He had taken a party out, and one of his clients had shot a mule deer at 600 yards and didn't kill it. And he pulls out his pistol, his revolver, 4-inch Smith & Wesson pre-model 2944 Magnum, and finishes off the deer with that revolver at 600 yards.
Wow.
See, stories like that, it's kind of, it's like, why do I bother? You know,
Yeah.
why am I casting these bullets? Why am I reloading? Why am I even carrying a gun out in the woods? So anyway, that's probably enough of that. So any of y'all got some stories, y'all can feel free to share, and we'll flash them up there. And I don't know who did that.
Well, I'm still looking for a copy of Hell I Was There. I don't have that one. This one is pretty available. And there's a lot of good stuff in here. We were talking about this in the panel just before we went live, and a lot of interesting reloading stuff in here, but it's interesting from the point of view that what he's talking about is equipment that was around in the 20s, 30s, and 40s mostly, you know, and powders that aren't here anymore. And he does talk about some of his favorite powders for various uses and whatnot. So all that stuff's kind of interesting. And I was just kind of flipping through here a minute ago on Patriot. Paul, somebody asked who was making his molds for him. Was that you, Ricky? Was asking that? Was reminded that Seiko made some molds that were designed by Keith also. That were different from the
Everybody made molds from Keith,
Yeah.
but for him originally. I think was the original question, and you're probably right with the ideals. At least to start, one of the big ones, because they're one of the older mold makers.
Yeah.
Good to see the pastor out there, George Boy 44. He says he thinks Elmer was full of crap, and I replied, so did Jack O'Connor. So you're not alone in that thought. And
real quick, if you guys don't mind, I want to say hi to everybody. Sorry that I'm late getting here. We got a granddaughter that's going on her first youth hunt tomorrow, so kind of last minute deals. She wanted some extra stuff to take, and so anyway, I apologize for that. But I read the email real quick. Heroes of the gun company of our gun heroes named Elmer, and so we're talking about Elmer Fudd because I'm a really big hero of Elmer Fudd. No.
Tactical Fudd maybe, but you know. You wascally wabbit.
Well, he always went, hunting.
Thanks, Hillbilly, because you just showed everybody that I'm not the only one that didn't know what was going on here.
You'd be proud to know that he was born in Missouri.
Oh, yeah. Well, I get hunting in Missouri.
Yeah, 45 Colt is just a really nice cartridge that I need to get involved with, I think.
You can do a lot with 45 Colt. You know, lever guns and revolvers. Several different cartridges you can make.
Yeah,
I was falling in love with it.
it's been my favorite for many decades.
Yeah, Patriot Paul, I believe if they quit making unique, there would be anarchy in the streets.
It's been hard to find.
Yeah, for a whole lot of years, it was the only powder listed for 45 Colt loads.
Mm-hmm.
Unique is not available because Alliant has stopped producing it.
I mean,
So for them to produce another batch is going to be some time from now. We got
I
one
a
4-pound jug of Unique in, and my boss grabbed it and put it up on the shelf, and he said it's not going anywhere because we're not going to see it again for a long time. So if you have it, I hope you got a lot of it if you
Conserve
like
it,
it.
huh?
If you don't have a lot of it and you got a little of it, conserve it.
All right,
But it will return, but it's going to be some time before it does.
I'm not familiar with Warren Page, Georgia boy. I'll have to check him out. So Connor couldn't get along with anybody, could he?
Well, these guys had quite large egos, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
They both made some pretty outlandish claims.
They'd have made good politicians, probably.
I think they were trying to outdo each other.
Well, they were. You think about the time, the 20s and 30s and early 40s. I mean, you know, they were gun riders. I mean, they were like movie stars. So, hey, Miss Brooke. Okay.
Unique and other Alliant powders are not going to be around because of the main cellulose ingredient that's used. They are a European company, and all of those ingredients are being eaten up by the wars over there. So they're missing a couple key ingredients to make their powder, and until someone over there starts producing more of it to get a surplus going of it, or these wars end, a lot of the European powders are becoming very hard to find.
Yeah, I've been using a lot more Vitavuri powders, N320 and N340 for my handgun loads, and it has remained available. It's expensive, but they're revolver loads, so it's not. I mean, it sounds terrible when you look at $50 for a pound of gunpowder, but we're still only using 2 cents of the stuff worth. Yeah, accurate.
Accurate makes some really good powders for revolvers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're
number
accurate.
9's a good one.
Yeah, number 9, number 5.
Our local loading's always got that Vitavuri in.
Yeah, the Vitavuri, we've been getting a lot of Vitavuri in, and as fast as we get it in, it goes off the shelf. I want to say something about that. On the membership side of Republic Ammunition, he's going to start doing member-only deals on certain items. So you'll get anywhere between 10 and 20% off of an item or an order if you're a member, as well as free hazmat for the year. So he's just now getting into introducing the specials for the members.
That could be a real money saver for a lot of folks, especially if you're a high volume shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unique and 45 Colt just seem like they're supposed to go together.
They do. I think I've only got about a pound of unique left,
I think
but I've got access to so many other powders. You know.
Yeah, you've got a lot of it. I think I've got 10, 12 pounds or something of it right now, so I'm in good shape for a while.
I think I got 2.5 pounds.
Most
Don't
of the
use it that much.
most of the cowboy action guys using tight group for everything, ain't they? 6.
Tight group or a red dot if they can get that.
I haven't seen red dot around either, or blue dot.
I got about a half a pound of red dot. I like that in 45 ACP. That's spicy. You can pump that up.
Yeah, I use it in 380. I've got a couple pretty good loads. One of them with this guy's bullet right over here, and the mold that he made for me. And red dot runs that one pretty well.
Unique and A-locks. Dang it, Fuzz.
Unique and A-locks. The only two things you need to reload with, man.
No, that's going back to a Elmer Keith thing. You just about need black powder for that. I mean, heck dang, that's gonna be smoky, ain't it?
I was a little alarmed to find out there was an explosion down at the GoX factory the other day.
No, really?
Yep, seen that.
Nobody hurt, and they're still going to be up and running, but it was a little bit of an alarm to the community.
Yeah. They thought it was a 3.1 earthquake.
I don't think it was black powder. I think it was munitions they store there.
Yeah. Well, they had a real bad one, I think, back in 2016 that there was a freaking mushroom cloud over the town.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, it rose over 7,000 feet.
Yeah.
Now, do they do those in buildings or like concreted walls? I know fireworks, that's how they work. So if one blows up or something happens, then the other buildings beside it or whatever, more or less have an opportunity to not get affected.
I don't know that, but that seemed like a good idea to me.
Yeah, I'd watched Dylan one time with fireworks, and like each worker is in their own little bunker. I mean, it's above ground, but it's concreted in, and something bad happens, they're kind of more self-contained.
So check that out. Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog is on a cruise and stopped what he is doing long enough to come say hey to us. That is so cool. Have fun, Bulldog. Stay out of trouble.
You betcha. Hopefully that cruise has some trap shooting off the back of the boat.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, man. I've been on one, and that's what I did every day was shoot trap off the back of the boat.
I guess you have to pay more for that, don't you?
I think ours was all exclusive.
You have to wear water wings if you want to go recover your hulls, though.
No, the hulls are on the boat.
Right, using over and under, and they'll throw them backwards.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, I just jerk them right backwards.
Yeah, Bulldog does not consume alcohol, so you ain't got to worry about that. Our property owner that we deer hunt is farm. He is going to be building a trap range out there, starting a business up. So I'm hoping that when I get retired, I'll be able to go out there some and help him work part time.
Cool. I'm fixing to lose the range that I've been shooting at for the last year. It looks like they're going to lose the contract
Oh
to
no.
be the concessionaire there. Yeah. There's another pretty decent range, about the same distance in the other direction. I got to go check them out. I've never shot there, but
Didn't
I think
you lose the last one you went to before this one or something?
yeah, before this one, the is operated by the local club, but they went. It's an indoor pistol range. They got trap and stuff outside, which is still in fine shape. But the indoor range went lead free, and so you pretty much can't take your reloads in there, and you got to shoot their ammo, which is usually junk ammo. It's just cruddy ammo to go shoot, and it's expensive. So where I'm shooting now is on land owned by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and it was bequeathed to them by the original property owner with the caveat that it had to remain, its use had to be for public recreation as a shooting facility. Well, the town, couple towns up from me, has a pretty good sized sportsman's club, and they became a concessionaire there to run the shooting range for archery, shotgun, handgun, and rifle. And they got some good range, just out to 700 yards. So it's pretty neat. But they got in a jam with Department of Fish and Wildlife, and the Fish and Wildlife is going to throw them out. And there's no word if anybody else going to come in and take over or what. So meantime, I'm going to go join up with this other club in the other direction and see what they got going on.
So in other words, you dated all the gals in that direction, so you're going to try different.
Yeah, I got to branch out now.
He's more he's welcome
Yeah.
out, gentlemen.
It didn't take long.
The California Casanova has to go south. Say hello to Maria for us.
Yeah. This other range will be cheaper. They're $250 a year, but there's no fee to shoot. If you're a club member, they have a couple days a week when they're open to the public. But then the range where I'm at now, it's still like $25 to go shoot there for the day.
Mr. Pollard's an outlaw, and it's good to see the Texas outlaw Michael Sines is with us over on Rumble.
Oh man, I haven't heard from Michael Sines in a long time. I think he's got a Rumble channel going. I think that's where I ran into him not long ago.
Yeah.
I
A
have to
video
go
or
check
two of
him
his
out.
over there, yeah. And I hadn't seen hide nor hair of him in quite a while.
The ranch that I go deer hunting on, that's my ex-boss owns, somebody cut their fence last week. They lost lots of cattle. They lost a big bull stag and some other stuff.
That's just terrible.
There was a time in this country you'd hang a man for that.
Yep. In I think certain towns and certain states, it's still a law.
Oh yeah,
They just don't
still a law.
do it anymore.
That's
Don't know
cattle
what.
brother.
Don't know what it was. There was no tracks or nothing, but they cut the fence and rolled it back. So they the property that was cut against is owned by a big mining company. So it's not like somebody, over there wanted their deer or anything like that.
They're just being obnoxious, ain't they?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about anybody else around the country, but it seems like most of the time when somebody they might only just have 5 acres, but they don't want anybody on their land. But boy, they'll sure gladly go hunt on everybody else's land,
Right.
And I don't understand it, man. Don't understand it. Same way with hunting or riding 4-wheelers or whatever the case might be. And don't make any sense to me.
And And that's right. And Georgia boy says that bull's in somebody's freezer now. Well, they deserve what they get. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
case, 'cause that ain't gonna be fit to eat.
No.
That's that's for breeding purposes. Anyway, I guess they'll have a lot of hamburger. Gene, are you ready, brother?
Some good. Here's some good meat.
Yes, sir.
It's time for What's Hot Pot Got?
So, in honor of tonight's topic, I pulled out a 357 Magnum. That is a Smith & Wesson nickel case with an unplated CCI 500 primer. My projectile in this is from the Zinc Master, Andy. This is the Lyman 358 429 170 grain semi-wad cutter. In zinc, it weighs 103 to 105 grains, the size of 357. I do have a charge of unique behind this, and this is a nice little banger. With that zinc bullet in there, it's a zipper. So, we all heard about Elmer Keith tonight, but I'm still going to read you my information on this that I looked up. The 357 Smith & Wesson, let me start that again. The 357 Smith & Wesson Magnum is a smokeless powder cartridge. Bullet diameter is created by Elmer Keith, Philip B. Sharp, and Douglas B. Wesson of the firearms manufacturers Smith & Wesson and Winchester. The 357 Magnum cartridge is notable for its highly effective terminal ballistics. It was designed in 1934 and put into production in 1935. Present day is one of the most popular revolver handgun cartridges available. The bullet mass type that's used in these is everything from 125 grain, 158, 180, and 200 grain, and can go from FPSs from 1200 all the way to 1450. I did not chrono these that I loaded from Andy, but I did load them pretty stout, and they do zip along quite nicely. I wished I'd have chronoed it, but maybe one day I will get back out there and do that. If you've noticed, I've seated below the crimp groove because I use a Lee factory crimp, and they shoot and they shoot just fine. So I'm good with the way I do my things.
That looks like a 358 477 semi-wad cutter.
358 429.
It's a 358 429 Lyman.
Very similar.
And that is from the Zinc Master. Zinc Meister.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He sent me a couple
this week.
bags. He sent me a couple bags of these, and I probably put, I don't know, 100, 150 rounds down range with these things, and they are just zippers, man. Right, Walter?
They will. I shot some real light loads with those in 38 special this week, just to kind of see what they do with just a little bit of tight group underneath it, and shot them at about 650 feet per second out of a 38 special. It's like shooting a 22. Weigh about 103 grains is all that thing weighs, and accurate as heck. You know, even old Viejo, you know, I had 12 rounds that went into an inch at 7 yards.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
They're so light. There's no recoil at that lower load level, but you want to send them zinging, where you can put 8-9 grains of unique in there, and that Magnum. That's probably don't tell us what you actually put, but I bet it was around 9 grains of that stuff to send them out there in a hurry.
Well, I've made them in the past. My 357, you know.
Yep.
I like to see that muzzle rise.
Yeah.
A lot to be said for zinc, guys. You know, I've been hoarding it, so I haven't cast any myself in a couple years. But Andy sent me some, and we're going to do a wad cutter that he sent me in the Wad Cutter Wednesday series here before too much longer. But it's good stuff. It's easy on your barrel, and you know, if you shoot some after you shot a couple lead bullets, it'll clean your barrel out just like a jacketed round would.
Right. And Walk said he's got a load 1,600 feet per second with a 358 156, and I think I have that mold as well.
Yeah, I've got that one too. You got to cast that one really hard to run them that fast.
Yeah. And I've shot loads out of my Smiths with 158 grain bullets that were over 100, over 1,400.
Is that the 156 you said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
156.
And there's the 477. And what's the other one? There's another one I always forget. There's three that are very close. One's a 150 and the others are 158.
You're not thinking about the 311, are you?
No. No, that's a light one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like that one a lot, but that's a light one. That's like a 130.
Kyle said he still needs to get him a 357. I'm like, dude, they got 38s, 357s next. He got to go back to work. But Georgia boy likes that Lee round flat 158.
That's a good one.
I love that bullet. That's
He
one.
likes number 9 powder under that too.
Yeah.
Number 9's a pretty good powder to use, you know, since we can't get 2,400 anymore. You know, number 9's a pretty decent Magnum powder especially for 357. I think anyway. I like this stuff.
I like blue dot.
Yeah, blue dot ain't around right now either, and I don't have any more. I went through a pound of it last year, and it's all gone.
I got an 8 pounder.
You dog.
358 446. Is that the one y'all talking about?
That's another one. Yep.
Yeah.
I got the. I think I have 3 molds that are the 358 477s. I really like that bullet. It just makes nice, neat holes in paper.
I got a Lyman hollow point with that, I believe. Single cavity Lyman hollow point mold.
You said 2,200, Walter?
Say what?
You said 2,200. You couldn't get any more?
2,400.
Or 2,400?
Yeah.
I think we had some of that.
I'll go in and look, because that's another one that I like. That's another Elmer Keith favorite too. Since we're talking about him, he liked that one.
Yeah.
A lot.
I won't be without.
That's what I like in the 44.
Yep.
I'm
I'd rather
looking right
use that
now,
than
but
H110, but
I think we've got some on the shelf. I will check Monday and get a hold of you and let you know.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen it on the shelf locally, and I haven't seen it online either.
Yeah, it's not listed on the site, but man, we've got so much stuff. We get so much stuff in, and he's the only one working the computer, so he's taking phone calls, working on the website, trying to keep stock up, you know, cutting deals. I mean, he stays a busy man all day and all night.
In a way, to me, that's good news, because that's telling me that people are staying interested in shooting and reloading.
Well,
And,
I stock all the powders, and I'm not seeing a lot of them here that I stock. And we still sell out. People calling in asking about them.
Oh, one guy. We all need another 357 Magnum, dude.
Yeah.
And another 44 as well.
Technically, I only got one 357, and that's that 1873. And it's not recommended to shoot hot 357s out of it.
No, not the 73s. That toggle link is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the round. I've got several. I have two GP100s in 357. I've got the model 27 Smith, the old Dash 2. I've got that one, and I just a few months ago got a hold of a Blackhawk in 357. I didn't have one of those, so I added that in. I like shooting them all, and then I got a couple from Cimarron too that are 357.
Well, the wife's all three of hers are 357s too. So
Ozzy, we need to address Ozzy's question here. And the verse of the week is going to be really short tonight, so y'all hang
Okay.
around to the end if you can. Barrel lengths for 44 mag revolver. He wants to know 4 or 6.
5.
You can add them up and divide by 2.
5.
I like
is
6
classic.
inch
I
myself.
really like 5. In a
My
double
29 6.5, but
double action end frame, a 5 is a really, really nice barrel length.
Yeah,
easy to carry and pull.
4 is nice in the L and the K, but a 5 is nice in an N.
I like the idea of a 3-inch in 38 or 357 Magnum and a 4 or 5-inch in 44. I think at those barrel lengths, you still got enough accuracy. Well, you got more accuracy than a snub nose. You're going to get more velocity, and therefore, that shorter barrel is going to help you conceal it if you carry it.
A 3-inch 65 Smith is a classic carry revolver.
Yeah, Model 60, either one. Now, the Model 60 is going to be a J frame, so you're going to have to hold on to that.
Yeah.
The 65 is a larger, and it was available with a square or a round butt with a 3-inch barrel, 357 mag.
I had a 66 for a while, and I broke the pawl on it and took it to a gunsmith, and he asked me if I wanted to sell it, and he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I sold it to him on the spot. I shouldn't have. You ought to never sell your motorcycle or your revolvers, I guess. But
there you go. Yeah, 65 3-inch is perfect, especially if you can get that round butt. Yeah, so my advice to you would be go get some, go try some different barrel lengths. Go shoot them at one of your ranges if they've got guns that you can rent. What are our thoughts on, let's say, all right, we all know that in a 44 44 Magnum you can shoot specials and Russians as well. 38 357 you can downward compatible as well. So
38 Colt too.
Yeah. So do you like shooting 44 specials in a 44 Magnum? Do you find they're as accurate? Gene, we'll start with you.
I'm sorry. What's my thoughts on that?
Yeah. Do you find that if you're shooting 38
on the special to the full power 44?
Yeah. Do you find it more accurate? Do you like it? I think it's more pleasurable to shoot 44 specials than 44 mags.
Well, now my 44 mag, I load the specials for Ms. Hotshot.
Yeah.
Through my 357, I put 38s in it for Ms. Hotshot. As far as accuracy, I don't shoot them through it. She does. I mean, that's all up to her. You know, it's all in her finger and her eyesight, and you know what she does with the target. I don't see much difference in accuracy in shooting the. I don't want to say the less rounds, but the different rounds in them. But I don't shoot the specials or the 38s in my 357 or my 44.
Walk says no specials in Magnum chambers for him.
I like that 44 K frame that Smith came out with a bunch of years ago. 5-shot. Really, really nice gun. I can never remember the number. I owned one. I should have never sold it, but I did. I was carrying I had a Bulldog at the time, and I traded that Bulldog in instantly when I shot that Smith first time. Remember the number, Walter?
M. Gabriel says 69.
I think that's a 44 mag.
Yeah.
The 24 is the end frame 44 special. 669? Is it a 3-digit? It might be a 3-digit gun.
It might have been 669.
It's a 5-shot cylinder K frame, 3-inch barrel, 44 special.
Stainless.
Yes.
You know who I think had? You remember Led Smith? I haven't heard from him in
Yeah.
a long time. I think he had a couple videos with that, and I believe it was a 669. He had a stainless five rounds, right?
5 round, yeah.
Yeah.
44 special. Really, really nice gun.
That's what I was thinking, Mike. 44 special needs 44 special chamber for best accuracy. Yeah, and a lot of the guys are saying just load down the Magnum cases to 38 velocities or 44 special velocities.
Yeah, and you get the bullet out where it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah. And what you don't want to have happen is that ring of carbon buildup there.
Yeah, if you're gonna shoot that stuff, which I do a lot, you got to take the time and get that out of there. After every time you go shoot that stuff, because it'll build up, and the next thing you know, it'll be almost impossible to get it out.
But if you clean regular, it's not a problem.
Right.
I've never had a problem ever. Just
put some WD-40 in the cylinders. You'll be fine, folks.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Not like you got to scrub and scrub and scrub if you do it.
Around here, we use liquid wrench.
How about some
dynamite, that'll work.
Nah, PB Blaster up here in OH10.
Yeah, there you go.
No, man.
I was talking with one of our panel members here just the other night, that guy right there, and he was telling me about a product that is a kind of like a reamer, but not really. It's a scraper that you can get in there with that won't damage your cylinder, but it's I don't know what it looks like. It's a chunk of a piece of metal that goes in there, and you twist it, and
it almost looks like a primer pocket cleaner.
Okay, yeah.
You talking about the lead remover?
It's made by Slick Springs.
Lead remover? It's for leading?
No, for taking out carbon ring. For those, it's made for cowboys is what it was made for, but it's because most cowboys shoot 38s in the 357s.
Slick Springs, that was the name of the outfit, right?
Yeah, Slick Springs.
SLIX
Yeah.
Springs. But yeah, it can be difficult to get that stuff out of there. But I still shoot lots of specials in the Magnum revolvers and don't have a problem. And, as far as what's more accurate, my experience generally is the faster you can shoot it, the more accurate it's liable to be. That's not 100% always the case, but you're certainly going to get a lot more velocity out of a 44 mag than a special. And at closer ranges, that faster bullet's going to be traveling flatter and is bound to be more accurate.
So I got a question here from Garage Guy 879. Would you consider 44 Special to be about equal to 357 Magnum when shooting as far as recoil? A hot load 357 Magnum is going to be
More blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about the recoil.
it's
It's
going to be
close.
snappier. It's going to
Yeah, it's going to be snappier, and it's going to be perceived as more just because of that blast.
Yeah, just snappy.
The Magnum is a much higher pressure than the Special, so that's what the difference is.
and the
Would-
fireball.
Is there anybody out there suggest a hammerless 357 revolver or for carry?
Smith has a few J frames, but
Yeah.
57 in a snub nose small J frame is it's an acquired taste.
For sure. For sure.
Well,
That's one way
my
to say
wife,
it.
Ames, she carries a 38 special revolver, but I'm wanting her to go to a hammerless because she has, a tactical purse or whatever, and I don't want a chance of if she has to shoot it in there of anything hanging up. And I thought, well, she's going to shoot 38. I'd rather buy a 357 and her still shoot 38 through there.
Mm-hmm.
But is there that much more weight? I mean, what's your guys' opinion?
No more weight. It's actually probably a little bit lighter simply because you got less material in the cylinder for the same dimensions,
Okay.
But it's not going to be appreciable, but it's to shoot it. Like I say, the blast is substantial. It's not fun.
Well, she'll be shooting at 38 anyhow, but yeah,
It'll be really no different.
Yeah.
Accuracy through volume of fire. Are we talking about 357 Magnum versus 44 Special there, Mr. Gabriel? Mike Hester already beat me to the answer. 44 Special is possibly the best revolver combat cartridge.
It's a good one.
And they just keep hitting what you're pointing at. And so do my Smith 357 Magnum. So,
well, you don't have that big blast when you're shooting a big heavy bullet.
Yeah.
That 246 semi-wad cutter that it was its claim to fame. It's like the 158, 57 lead FDI load, but that 57's got to expand to get there, and that 44 is already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to run off and get my charger cord because I was about to die, so I missed part of that conversation. But talking about shooting 357 in a smaller revolver, I shoot it out of that little 3-inch Taurus, and it's abusive. That blast, really. I mean, it's throwing stuff back and hit you in the face.
Yeah, it's not so much recoil. It's snappy, but I don't find it offensive recoil wise. It's just that blast. It barks. It's
offensive.
1 3/4 barrel is that's a short barrel for all that, 35 to 37,000 psi.
Now, for my 357, I'm down to that Herder's revolver, and that thing is so heavy and so big. I'll shoot 357 in that all day. It doesn't blast back. It doesn't recoil. It's just fine.
I've got a small frame Ruger and the standard frame Ruger, and they're both fine with 357 mag, but one's got a 4 5/8 and one's got a 6.5-inch barrel. They're just fine, and they're lighter than a lot of the double actions. And they're fine with the heaviest load, but that short barrel, I got a 2 3/4-inch Ruger, a heavy gun. It's not bad recoil wise, but it blasts. Even that's almost an inch longer barrel and a little J frame.
Well, she shoots the 38 special Taurus revolver, the ultralight, and she can shoot it good. It's just I don't want a chance of that hammer hanging up, and I guess I could find one of those, but I thought, geez, if I'm gonna spend some money personally, I'd rather get a 357,
Yeah, I
and
agree. You're gonna buy
put 38s in it.
Yep, just shoot 38s in it. I agree.
Yeah.
That 640 Centennial is like I said, you can get it in a steel frame, and it'll cut down a little. It's a little heavier to carry, but it'll cut down a little on the recoil if you do shoot the magnums. But that Taurus titanium, is that what it is? A titanium or just an ultralight?
It's ultralight. It's like a brush finish aluminum type look. And
Those I'll get to you in just a second, Michael. The Charter Arms Bulldogs, I've had more than one person tell me how they like those for carry. Said they're not something that you go out to the range and shoot 500 or 600 rounds through at a time. But as far as personal protection, they're hard to beat.
Yeah. Well, they offered that later years in 45 Colt too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Every time we go to the FFL store, gun store, there's always a Charter's Arm in there somewhere that's really pretty that she likes.
And they make a lot of colored ones in 38.
Yeah, they have a lot of colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rugers are heavy for a reason, and I'm not going to get into it here, but that SP 101 3-inch, that's a nice gun, and if you had it hanging off your belt, it wouldn't be as bad, but if you're going to put it in a purse, it could get heavy. And Texas Outlaw Michael Sines asked how's the Scotsman doing, and I hadn't talked to him much this week. I was texting with him early in the week, and he seemed that they pretty much got everything straightened out with him except for sciatica, and y'all know what sciatica is, a pinched nerve in your lower spine. So if they can get that under control, we all know it's a long and tough thing, but it is treatable, and it's treatable without surgery. And of course, they can treat it. So hopefully, it don't come to that. And Mike Hester's right. I can testify that Charter Arms will have timing issues. I had one that it was the undercover 38 special snub nose, and it would you'd be pulling the trigger and it would just lock, like you couldn't pull the trigger the rest of the way in.
That's no good for self-defense.
No, that will get you dead. All right, so it's time for our verse of the week. Yes, he did, Gort. And the Amityville Horror, that killing was done with a Marlin 336 chambered in 35 Remington. So there's that. If I remember that right. Somebody tell me I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, tonight we got one verse, and we've been dealing with the wisdom thing, and so I've been kind of camped out in Proverbs. We can move on to something else next week if y'all would like. But the verse I have for you tonight is actually two. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogance, and the evil way, and the perverse mouths I hate. So what we have here is Solomon is writing about wisdom, and as he goes off into his poetic beauty, sometimes he will write as wisdom being a person. And if we that word prudence there, what we're talking about there, self-control, good judgment. So where prudence is found, their wisdom will be found also. A life given to impulse and extremes will not gain, appreciate, or display wisdom. And the fear of the Lord, the reverence for God, and the wisdom that comes from it is not neutral toward evil. Like the God it respects, it hates evil, along with pride and arrogance and the perverse mouth that often express evil. And there's a commentator named Trapp who says that God's people partake of the divine nature, and so have godlike both sympathies and antipathies. They not only leave sin, but loathe it, and are at deadly feud with it. So that's our verse on wisdom and the prudence and self-control, and how once you start trying to live for the Lord, you'll start really disliking those things that we all used to do. And I think that's one of the marks of our salvation, is we change the way we feel about, where we go, the things we do, the people we hang out with. Because I'll tell you, and I bet you Kentucky Rimfire can, and I bet everybody on the panel can testify to this, that once you start trying to live for the Lord and try to do what's right and try to have that wisdom and prudence, I think what happens is a lot of your friends that you used to running around chasing girls and drinking with and all this other stuff, I think they kind of don't want to be around you much anymore, as much as you don't want to be in that lifestyle anymore. But I think I said something right there that I think I need to earlier, Mr. Pollard joking around and asked if it was okay if he mixed Coke with his shine, and I said no, it's not. It's not okay. And then CW said, "Why you want to ruin your shine by putting Coke in it?"
Okay.
And that's kind of independent arms. That's exactly right. They don't want to be around what the Holy Spirit does to us and what that represents. I think it's Tim S. Pride cometh before destruction, and a haughty look before the fall. It's important to me to say this, and nowhere in the Bible does it say that you should not consume alcohol. What it does say is a drunkard becomes violent, and that you get a bad reputation, and do not be drunk with wine. And I think the only one true way to not to be like that is either have good prudence and self-control or don't drink. If you have a problem with alcohol, you should stay away from it. If you don't, I think this is my thinking, and I can be wrong. Independent arms, be sober-minded, moderation, exactly. it's like if you can. Jesus turned the water into wine at the wedding party because they ran out of wine. I think God wants the best for his people. I think he wants us to enjoy life. I think part of that is being able to celebrate special events and important dates in life and so on and so forth. But can you do that and keep control of what's going on in your life and still consume alcohol? I don't think it's wrong to consume alcohol. I think it's wrong to let alcohol consume you. And if you can't be a good witness for the Lord Jesus Christ when you're drinking, then please either don't drink or don't tell anybody you're a Christian. Okay? It's that simple. I think this is a thing. Walks is quoting the Professor Paul, the Apostle Paul, as he was talking to Timothy. Don't drink water, take a little wine for your stomach's sake. We also got to put into context the fact that water back then was bad. The water would kill you dead. You'd be sick and sick and sick. So they kind of always used a little bit of wine to mix with the water to purify the water. And yeah. Anyway, I said way too much about that. Any other thoughts or comments? Kentucky Rimfire's grinning. He's got something on his heart.
I just I got saved and baptized 24 years ago, and I was walking around town passing out tracts at the bar with the pastor of the church, and he was talking to me about being a new Christian and stuff, and I said, tell me something. I said, I like to have a beer with a steak dinner every now and then. And he goes, there's nothing wrong with that. He said, but myself, I was an alcoholic. And he said, I can't just drink one beer. So I just don't drink any at all. And he said, but let me ask you this. If you're sitting in a restaurant and you're drinking that beer and one of the elders of the church walks up to you while you're eating and drinking that beer, will you feel embarrassed or will you feel conviction because that beer's sitting on the table? And I said, yeah, I'd probably want to crawl under the table. And he said, well, then you probably don't want to do it. So
there you go.
Yeah.
But y'all also got to understand the way we do church in the South. We have we're quick to judge and quick to pass judgment. And I think one of the reasons Kentucky would feel embarrassed and want to crawl under the table is because he knows that elder's going to go back and tell half the people in the church.
Well, here's the thing, that elder don't know if that's my first beer or my 10th beer. So
of the night, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I think we also have to be very careful about ruining our witness.
Yep.
To lost people.
Yeah, and they might see you dancing too. That's even worse.
Don't take that wrong, because I do not condemn anybody that likes to have a drink. I do not.
Well, kind of way I always figured, and please give me guys' opinion, but if you're in a situation, public or group of people, if you're having a beer, if it's one or two, whatever the case might be, but you're not getting drunk, is that going to hinder someone around you? And I think that's to me, myself personally, I think that's a little more something that I think about. If if it can hurt somebody around you, they see you drinking and like, oh well, this guy, I respect him and all this and that, and or girl, and a lot they're saying, but then, I see him having a beer, they must be a hypocrite or whatever. So there's always that to think about too, and that it might hinder you helping somebody else too. So there's
or caring for your family properly,
yeah,
the way a man's supposed to be. If you get to that point where you are no longer able to be, a husband, not only to your wife but to your family as well, then you lost it. When you're at that point, probably lost it before you got to that point, but.
Yeah, but a lot of times it takes hitting rock bottom, and the only way you got to look is straight up.
There's that.
Yeah, rock bottom's a good place to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'd like to say something too on the verse that you brought up there, Proverbs. They're talking there about wisdom and dwell of prudence, and I feel like, in a way, it might be saying, okay, wisdom comes from patience and stuff like that. And then what I like about this verse is down there, in the next verse, it says, and basically it's talking about what he hates is pride, ignorance, and evil. And then it says, perverse mouth I hate. So I've always been told this. Sometimes the smartest person in the room is the one that's not talking. Sometimes they have the most wisdom. And so I really think that that's a neat verse. It kind of joins those two together. He's talking about wisdom and basically ignorance. And so, sometimes that's a, something to think about, And if I keep talking, nobody's going to think I'm wise. So I'll just go ahead and say that.
Does that mean bail me out here? I back myself up.
Yeah.
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 Before we get to that one, Mike, we need to go get your other one up here. Let's do this one. Rollis, just to be honest, it is not any of the business of the church ladies, both male and female, if you want to drink a beer. No, it's probably not, but they make it their business, and they make it everybody else's business if you're not careful. And y'all know the type. We've all got them in every one of our churches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to love them. When you rectify the reason you get drunk, you can have just one. If you just stop drinking and don't figure out why you're out of control, no, you can't have just one. Just my personal journey.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you, brother. Walt says he does not drink and he does not dance.
He don't eat oatmeal either, so you can figure out what the rest of that's
there's always that.
He's obviously a grit man. Mike Hester says, if Jesus can forgive my wild backside, he can forgive anyone. Women mean, fought all the time. I'd offer the preacher a drink, though. We get down here. I am steeped in Southern tradition and society. I threw that tradition part in there. To strive to be a Southern gentleman is of most importance, and that's the way we're brought up. Yes, it is, Bama Dad. Understanding the difference between wisdom and knowledge is very helpful in a Christian walk. Knowledge is an accumulation of facts that you know to be true. Knowledge is wisdom is properly applying those facts in a godly manner to your life. That's the way I look at it. Pride is sneaky, I've found. Before I know it, there it is. Yep, you ain't wrong.
Definitely.
He's either Baptist or Pentecostal. Being from the South.
I'm Baptist. I drink and I dance.
Just for that, Walks, tomorrow I'm going to make a waffle out of oatmeal flour.
Yeah, but you're from Texas, Six. You're supposed to do that. I mean, I think in my mind, part of being a Southern gentleman is knowing how to do a proper two-step. It just is.
Catholics drink in front of the church, and the Baptists drink behind it.
Hey, we're getting to where we'll actually speak to each other in the liquor stores.
I remember many years ago, the first time we went just south of Dallas, Texas, to Waxahachie to the Super Chevy show, big car show they have down there, and drag races and all that. And anyway, we did stop on Sunday, and some people wanted to get some beer and ice, and we was getting sodas and all this. And anyway, the guy told us, said, well, we can't sell beer till noon. And we're like, oh man, that'll be too late. We got to get to this, to this event. And I asked him, I said, why is that? And he goes, well, he said, the Baptists don't want anybody to get a head start on them.
Right.
Yeah, I grew up Southern Baptist, and when I was young, and I couldn't understand the dancing part, especially when I went back and read the Bible and seen where Peter danced before, praise the Lord for all his body is worth. And like, I kind of had trouble putting all that together.
Independent Arms turned 46 yesterday. I think a lot of us can relate to that. Brother. A lot of us.
Happy birthday.
So, happy birthday to Independent Arms on Halloween.
Halloween.
I bet if you're not careful, your birthday will be on Halloween next year, too.
We share the same birth year.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about before we start going through the... One of the marks of a good preacher by my dad is he has a good watch and he knows how to glance from his notes to his.
What's the matter?
And also, good preacher knows they're in second invitation to everybody stand up so they can dig deeper in their pocket for that offering plate.
Yep.
We literally went to a black church in New Orleans one time when I was 18, and he said that. He goes, everybody stand up. We're passing the offering plate around again. I need you to stand up so you can dig deeper in the pocket.
I was at a church one time when they took up the offering, and the preacher grabs the plates, and the congregation is singing a song. He goes back in the back, counts the money, and comes back out and says, there's absolutely no way that's 10%. Pass the plates again. And I left that church, and I never went back.
I had a friend of mine that moved to Lexington, Kentucky, and he took membership at a church. Him and his wife was going there, and they liked it, so they took membership. And well, later on, they found a different church that they went to with some of their friends, and they decided they wanted to go to that church instead. And the previous church came and knocked on their door and told them that they were in the rears X amount of dollars on their tithes and offerings.
This kid ran your credit score.
Well, congratulations, Dale Pogue, married 35 years, coming up this Tuesday.
That's outstanding.
Congratulations.
Anyway, that's great.
Just did 30 last Tuesday for me.
Really? Good for you.
What was it, Mark?
30.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I made it to 25. Fortunately, I won't go any farther.
I'm at 45 right now.
I'm on my fourth wife. Does that count?
At least you're counting. Some guys have
Man,
lost.
you ain't nobody till you get to 5.
Yeah, we won't
They
go
won't
there,
be.
Ross.
They won't be a 5. I'll just have to hang out with Walter.
There you go.
I haven't figured out how to wear out the first one yet.
So, Rollis, we'll try to get to that next time if we. I've got some friends that are Masons, and they seem like great guys. I think their motto is the Masons take a good man and make him better. And most of the Masons that I know are great guys and Christians and believers. And
You know the difference between knowledge and wisdom, boys? Knowledge is knowing that a mean woman can ruin your life. Wisdom is having the foresight not to marry one.
well, there you go. Let's start getting ready to get out of here. Ron 2A Matter says good night, everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll let Hillbilly go first because he's got to go help Gizzard Gary. What you got coming up, boss?
Oh man, appreciate y'all having me every Friday night. What a great way to kick off the weekend. I put out some videos this week, all the way from, we had 22 9mm rifle and the 300 blackout doing Hasbro's challenge. That's a lot of fun. And then next week I got more videos coming out, and then of course we got Guns, Beer, and Therapy every Saturday night, 9:00 Central, 10:00 Eastern. So if you're not doing anything, come over and visit us. We'd be glad to have you. And one quick thing, talking about the Masons, when I was just a young man, I helped a friend of the family. He was laying block for a foundation, and he doing the 4 corners of the foundation and block and string line up and all that. And one was a little bit off. And anyway, he said, I'm just going to tear this corner down and fix it. And he said, it's off, just by a little bit. Look at that string line. I said, well, nobody will know but me and you. Or I said, nobody will ever notice that. And he goes, I will. He goes, that's not right. And sure enough, he kicked her over and we started her over again. So that's part about a foundation, man. There's a lot to be said about that. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being here, Hillbilly. So, Mark Thomas, what you got coming up?
Well, I was gifted a bunch of reloading equipment. I did make a short video of one of those too. Really good friend of mine from work. In fact, one of the longest time friends. His brother passed away a little bit ago, and he was cleaning out a shed. So I got some fine reloading equipment that's in not so fine shape. So I've started to restore some of it. I got the first set of 357 dies looking like brand new. I'm working on a real nice RCBS press. We'll get that cleaned up. And actually, one of the first things I want to do with that is reload some ammunition for him. He doesn't have a lot of stuff. He's got a nice little 38 special. So I'm going to take those dies from his brother. I'm going to take that press from his brother, and I'm going to load him up about a half a box of 38 specials. And
Nice.
say, if you want to shoot him, go ahead and shoot him. Spend some time with your brother. If not, just put them away somewhere, and they'll be what they are. They'll be nice, light minimum charge loads. They're not going to be anything dangerous. But I'm going to try to do a couple little videos, just restoring each piece. There's one more set of dies that are going to need some cleanup. Luckily, the 45 Colt dies that came with it, they were nice and clean. But the 30-06 dies are going to need a little bit of attention. And that Mech 600 is going to be a real adventure, tearing that one down and cleaning it up. But I'm going to put those to real good use and make them shine. So that's about what I got coming up, and we're just kind of enjoying the fall here. We're going to go out and do a little bit of airsofting tomorrow, and my son has decided to try out wrestling as his first high school sport, team sport, other than cross country. So you're probably going to see a couple of videos about that as things go along. Thanks for having me. Been a great evening. Been looking forward to it all week. I guess let's pass it off here to Kentucky Rimfire.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. I just released a couple of videos within the last 24 hours. One shooting my AR-15, getting ready for Hasbro's challenge. But Hillbilly's kind of made me want to just not even try because he wore it out. But I also posted up my Ruger Precision with my new Discovery optic, which I'm loving. That thing is sweet. It's the 8-32x50 with a second focal plane and a fine crosshair, and I really like it so far. Tomorrow I'm probably going to drop a video on the next segment of my comparison video I've been doing with the Ruger 1022, Marlin Model 60, and the Remington 597. And I plan on deer hunting the rest of the weekend. And I've been looking to crawl under the table during this whole show because I don't own a revolver.
But that's a problem you can rectify.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an easy fix.
Yeah. My wife has a 38 Taurus that she keeps in a nightstand. I do have two revolvers, but they're black powder. I got an Army and a Navy.
Oh, those are so cool. We would love to see videos on that.
Get you a rimfire revolver. There's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do something because I want to do a challenge. Pistol challenge. So you got to get something you can shoot 22. Might as well be a revolver.
If I was going to buy a revolver, it'd have to be something big. Like a 500 or one of them big Raging Bulls or something.
No, man, you need a nice like KL frame 357. It's a good start. Anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll indoctrinate you. We'll educate. Ruger Blackhawks are awesome. Red Hawks are okay. I like single action, but that's just. I also like my Smith double actions. So, yeah. Mr. Six, what do you got coming up this weekend?
All right. Thanks for having me on again. Yeah, we got our big 2-day match tomorrow, starting tomorrow. We may get rained on, but we're still going to have fun. So be looking for those videos. I actually already had one video for the posse marshal, the Marshall posse, when they shot pre the match, so they could do other things during the match. Need to get that edited. but I'm sure I'll have a couple videos with that coming up soon. I've got some pellets that was donated to me. I need to do some video on that and testing. Got a couple other things to work on. Hopefully after this weekend, I can get out and do some more shooting because it's been tying me up trying to get everything ready for this big meet. So hopefully soon I'll get some more videos back out. So, what you got, Walter?
Well, let's see. Coming up for the weekend, I'm going to get out and do a little socializing tomorrow. It's probably going to rain a little bit, but that's all right. There's indoor activities, movies, and such. We'll figure that out tomorrow. Sunday, I've got a bunch of loading I got to get done. I cast up a bunch of bullets over the last couple of weeks, and they're sitting there saying, load me, load me. So we can take care of that on Sunday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I got 3 series going now that are each one of them capable of lasting almost a year. We got Moldy Monday started up again, and Odd Cutter Wednesday, and Free the Few Friday, and most of that's on Rumble. Sadly, we still can't get it. At least I can't get away with any reloading or bullet casting on YouTube. So it's mostly all going to be over there on the Rumble channel. Do little bits of the other stuff there on YouTube, but I can't show much. So that's what we got going on here at Casa de Viejo. Just the same old stuff, out having fun. I'll get to the range a couple times this week. I got a new scope I put on my Savage 17 HMR, so I got to get that dialed in, and I got to shoot more rifle stuff. I got all of those Henrys that they're sitting there in the safe, just languishing away, saying, "What's the matter with us? You don't like us anymore?" So I'm gonna make an effort to get those guys out and start shooting those too. So that's what's up with me, Mr. Hot Pot. What's happening?
Well, it's a pleasure being on tonight, everybody. It's been a great chat. I've learned a lot, which is, man, I always feel like I'm going to school on here. It's never ending, which is a good thing. Always willing to learn. Tomorrow, I'm going to take some loads that I've done for my 308 using some 147 grains and some Shooter's World tactical rifle. And I'm going to see if my bolt action Savage likes any of them. We'll see how they group out. So that's my plans for tomorrow. Sunday's kind of up in the air. May go to the outdoor range and do some pistol shooting. Maybe tried a couple different loads I've got going on for a couple different pistols I got. I got a video coming up on Zulissi Optics. I'm going to compare all the ones that I have. And I've also got another video in the works on 10mm firearms, all the ones that I possess.
That'd be good.
Looking at getting a couple. Yeah, looking at getting a couple different firearms. Just prioritize which one I want to get first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. You know how it goes, everybody. But thanks for having me on tonight. I greatly appreciate all of you. And you know, it's only once around the ride. So always remember to keep blowing that smoke.
Been a good chat tonight. I thank everybody for being on the panel with us and having a conversation, and especially everybody in the side chat. We couldn't do it without you guys. Just a quick reminder that this coming week, we're going to have the biggest election that we probably had in some of our lifetimes. And it's really important that we get out there and vote. And even more importantly is bring somebody. Bring somebody who may not be able to get there. You and me both, Chad. I went today myself. I went early and voted early today. Got it out of the way because I've been watching, like all you, seeing these big, huge numbers in the pre-voting. And it's just immense, incredible. And watching my own polling center, which is Town Hall right now, the lines are out the door and down the road for pre-voting.
Yep.
So I wasn't about to wait till Tuesday. So it took me about 4 trips, but I made it there today, and I was about the 13th one in line. and I got in and out of there in about 15 minutes. So
Good.
done. I've done it. So I've got a couple of videos coming up. I get to the range with that hammer scope. We find out I had some problems with it, and I'm going to have a couple of videos later in the week on the smokeless muzzleloader, which I have yet to get to the range with to work out loads, but I introduce you to some bench talk and some information about it, how I did it, why I did it, what I expect out of it. So hopefully you'll find those interesting. And I got to do a couple of challenges. So I've got one video. I think I've got 3 challenges in one video, just because I'm behind the 8 ball on those, and I apologize to all the guys that are sending me. I got one from No Pro just tonight, and I forwarded it to a number of you guys while we were talking here. So we got that coming up. I'm gonna have we're gonna go to a new piece of property this weekend, do a little scouting. I'm gonna throw up a couple of cellular cameras and see what kind of population we have of critters out there. And Sunday, I'm hoping to go enjoy the company of a new friend. So hope that goes well too. I really enjoy being out here talking to you guys, and hope we can do this for many, many more moves.
Very good. Thank you guys on the panel for helping me do what we do. And thank you guys in the side chat for being here. Y'all what drive us to do what we do. And before we go quickly, rimfire, they said, do you like shooting 44 cap and ball? That would be the Army, right?
Yes.
And with this, go Dogs. Beat them dirty, rotten, stinking Gators tomorrow. We hope the Lord blesses y'all all real good. And if he's willing, we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.
God bless you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all.